Well, again, and welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Rural Report. I am your Rural 2IC, and again, same one as you probably saw in the previous video. I'm wearing my zombie T-shirt, and as the title says, we're going to go over Zombieland Rules Part 4. And so, in this one, we're going to go over 5 different rules from the list from the movie, and we're going to break them down and see how we can use them and uh, basically put them into a daily preparedness lives. Now, if you haven't seen the other ones, I would encourage you to go check those out and then do all the fun YouTube things and hit the little bell for notifications so that way if you enjoy these, you can come back and finish out the mini series with us as well as all the other fun things that we do around here. So, without further ado, let's jump straight into this. We're going to do the next 5. So we ended with number 15. So we were on number 16, which is opportunity knock. Now, there's a lot of ways to take this one. And really, what it is going to be make sure, one, that you have your eyes open. When you see an opportunity, you're going to have to do an assessment on it. So you're going to have to try and figure out, does the risk outweigh the reward? Okay. If the risk is minimal and the reward is high, opportunities knocking, you need to go. Okay. Now, if the risk is really high versus very little reward, obviously we need to not answer that door because that opportunity is a bad thing to do. Now, also, you can be the opportunity. So if something happens, and remember, SHTF doesn't have to be world ending. You can see somebody else have an SHTF. It could be a friend, it could be a coworker, a family member, your neighbor. If you see that they're struggling with their own SHTF, you might be the one that needs to knock and be the opportunity. Okay. But any of it, if it is some, balloon goes up or whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to shelter in and stay closed in. That person that might be the one that you really, really need. Maybe you have a really good mag and a really good team and all that, and maybe you have a person that's a doctor, and they're really good and all this other stuff, but something happens and your doctor's not with you, for whatever reason. Well, maybe that person that's over here that you're looking at, instead of just shutting them out and not giving them a chance, maybe they are a doctor. And maybe if you give them that little bit of an opportunity, they answer it, they might be just exactly what you and your group needs. So, yes, you're going to have to vet people. Yes, you're going to have to be careful, but doesn't always necessarily mean 100% in either direction. Doesn't mean let everybody in, doesn't necessarily mean let everybody out. So, moving on. All right, here goes a fun one. Don't be a hero. Okay. Now, for the most part, 90% I'm going to agree. Usually, when something happens, being a hero is a really good death wish. Okay. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that don't do the right thing. You're going to have to be smart and you're going to have to read the situation. You're going to have to act accordingly. If anywhere, if you go to any sort of a situation and you see that somebody is in need of help, but there's absolutely no way in anything that you do, say, whatever, that you're going to be able to help them without putting yourself or everybody around you in greater danger. I mean, it's going to be one of those things. If you're going to be the hero, then you might not be here tomorrow to be the hero, if you get where I'm going at. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do small things. You can be a hero in somebody's eyes. You don't have to be Superman and be the hero of the world. So there's a lot of ways to take this one, but I get what they're saying and I get what it says in the movie. Now, in the movie, if you remember, he scratches it out and he says, be the hero. But I get it. Okay. Usually, being the hero, that is somebody that sees a very bad situation and goes, well, if I go stop this, I'm going to be a hero. Usually, in about 10 minutes, they're no longer with us anymore. So make sure you're smart, make sure you assess the situation, and you're going to have to act accordingly for the situation. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay. So we're on number 18, limber up. Okay, looking at all the stats, I can see the kind of age groups. Most of my audience are that middle age to upper age, and we're not as young as we used to be. I'm not extremely old, but I am definitely getting up there. As you can see, the gray and the beard and all that. And so, you know, 10, 15 years ago, yeah, I could jump right out of bed and go straight to work. Now it takes a good, 30 seconds to get up there and stretch it all out and really get up in there and things like that. So make sure that you limber up. And it's going to be one of those. You're in an SHTF event, you're not going to want to have that pulled muscle. It's not the younger years anymore, and even the younger people, you pull a muscle, it can take you out for a little while. But to be able to get up, stretch, get yourself limber, uh, you're going to be doing a lot of physical manual labor when SHTF. Remember, you're not going to have the comforts of electricity and things like that. And so you're going to be doing a lot of things manually by hand when you used to be able to just plug into the wall or grab a battery powered drill and do it. You're going to be doing it the old fashioned way when you used to be able to dump a little gasoline and some 2-cycle oil into your chainsaw and take that tree down, pretty quick. And now you're going to be doing a lot of chopping manually. Okay. So make sure you remember to limber up. Okay. 19. And I thought about this one for a little bit. So 19 is break it up. Now, we're going to go into a slightly different way than what it is in the movie. When it comes to you have somebody that you saw them, you met them, you talked, things look okay, but then something changes, okay? Maybe they go through an experience and it kind of changes their demeanor, their outlook, whatever. Don't be the one to where you go, well, we have 6 months invested in them, we have a year invested in them, or something like that. If it comes down to it where you're like, okay, hang on, something's changed and this isn't a good fit, don't be afraid to break it off. Listen, we're not seeing eye to eye, and if SHTF happens, yeah, I can't trust you, or I don't like your views have changed and different things like that. For whatever, maybe they've gone too far this way, too far this way, whatever the change or anything like that is. Don't be afraid to hurt somebody's feelings, because if SHTF comes, you trying to not offend somebody, your life's going to depend on them. So it's better now to just break that off and replace them with somebody that you can trust and that might be, potentially a lot better of a fit than to have SHTF come and you're constantly looking over your shoulder, or you're constantly breaking up fights or arguments or things like that. So, uh, again, don't be afraid to break that off. All right, so here's the last one. Okay, you ready? It's a marathon, not a sprint. Unless it's a sprint, then you need a sprint. I love how they worded that. Okay, let's take half that, the first half. Prepping is definitely a marathon. It's not a sprint. You're not going to get from here to here and be like, okay, done. It's a marathon. Keep in mind, though, that we all run at our own pace. The goal is the finish line. It's not to be first, it's the finish line. It's surviving the event. Whatever happens, as long as you cross that finish line, that's the whole goal. Okay. Now, some people are going to get through it a lot quicker, whether they have more skill, whether they have more gear, whether they have more manpower, whatever it is. Some people are going to get through this a lot easier and a lot faster than others. Some people, it's going to take them a lot longer. They didn't have enough money to start out with. They wasn't as serious, and so they only had a little, minimum skill, little things like that. Maybe they'll get through it, and maybe it'll just take them a lot longer, and they'll be a lot more uncomfortable, and they'll be struggling through it. But the thing is as long as they cross that finish line, the event is over. If they're still alive, there you go. You're good. Now, the big thing though is if you take it into there, sometimes you need to act with urgency. Sometimes you need to have uh, something that may be an unfortunate motivator to where you need to up your sense of urgency, that you need to move quicker, you need to act, you need to do something on the spur of a moment. You don't have time to sit back. So I enjoy that they put that in there because you can utilize it one way and you can take it another way. So, but that's our five for this video. So let's really quickly recap and run back through them. Okay, so number 16, opportunity knocks. Remember, when you see an event, you're going to have to assess it and you're going to have to see if the risk outweighs the reward. But on the flip side, you might be the opportunity that needs to knock for somebody else. So make sure that you kind of see everything from both sides. Okay. Moving on to where are we at? Number 17. Don't be a hero. Again, goes back, assess the situation. If there's just nothing to do about whatever the event is or the situation or whatever to where it's not going to put you or your other people or anything like that into even more danger, don't be a hero. Okay. Yeah, there's times that you can go and help out and be the hero in somebody's eyes, but you don't have to be Superman and rescue the world. Okay. Next is going to be limber up. Okay, we're not getting any younger, most of us. We're all getting a little gray up here, and so it's taking us a little bit. I'm not quite that 1970s Buick that moans and groans and then finally gets rumbling, or an old Detroit or whatever. But yeah, limber up. Make sure you take care of yourself because, especially in an SHTF situation, you're not going to have a doctor. You're not going to be able to run to the pharmacy and get a muscle relaxer or something like that. Now, if you have chronic things like that, maybe you need to prep up on getting some things that will help in that sort of event. But for the most part, just a little bit kind of stretching and getting things moving again does a lot. Okay, next is going to be number 19, break it up. Don't be afraid to hurt somebody's feelings, okay? It's better to end it now than to invest any more time, money, assets, everything. You could be potentially letting the person that would be the greatest, addition to your mag or group slip by because you're too focused on the wrong person. So if you already foresee and you got together, your whole mag agrees, hey, this person's just not a good fit, they're not working out, break it off. Okay. Don't be afraid of that. And then the last one, it's not a marathon, or it is a marathon. Right? Again, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Unless it is a sprint, then you need to sprint. So again, prepping, just slow and methodical. Just every day, you just got to build and keep adding to it. All you've got to do is a little bit. Just take and see it as an investment. Okay, put aside a little bit. It's not even about money. It's just time. Yes, you're going to have to buy things eventually. You're going to have to spend a little money. But the thing is invest your time. That's a really good start. Take 15 minutes, take 20 minutes, half hour, whatever. Take a certain amount of time every single day and invest in yourself. Learn how to tie a new knot. Use your shoelaces. Learn how, to stack wood so that way you can build a fire in different methods. You can go out and collect some sticks off of a tree or something. There's a lot of things that you can do for free that all you got to do is just a little bit of time and just build on it. As you get better and better, extend it out. Do a half hour, then build it up to 45 minutes, and then an hour, then, an hour and a half, 2 hours. Do something to where you're bettering yourself every single day. Invest in yourself. You are your greatest asset. Remember, during SHTF, most of the time, nobody's coming to help you. You are your own first responder. And if you have friends, family, neighbors, things like that, you might be the one that needs to help them. So the more that you invest in them, the more that they can count on you. The more that you invest in yourself, the more that you can train them and teach them, the more you can rely on them that if something happens to you, you can be a little bit more, rest assured they're properly trained, that they know what to do, they can help you. So that's what I've got for you today. Hope you guys had fun because I have a blast making these. It's a little bit fun, and you just got to kind of take the little Hollywood corniness and flip it around to make it to where it fits, your needs and my needs and things like that. So, if you guys enjoy this, let me know down in the comment section. And with that, that's all I've got for you today. So make sure you tune in as we finish out the list. And stay tuned. There's more information to come and more rules that we're going to go over. But with that, please remember to remain united because we're all going prep in this together.